Just take a nice breath in. Exhale that breath. Just allow yourself now to relax more and more. Because from this moment in time, there's nothing of importance for you to do except relax. Relax.
Hey humans, welcome to Scarlett Show, Season 4, Episode 5. I mean, I'm trying to relax, but we literally just walked 5 miles to get here. I'm your host, Scarlett Santa Maria, providing a space for self-expression for San Diego's electronic music artists. And this week, I only went out on Saturday. So first, I went to Ascension at Cava Lounge for a night of dark underground dance music ranging from industrial, dark wave, post-punk, and more. It was an all-female lineup featuring my friend Robin Ross of Club Sabbath, Lady Noir, and Carrie. The ladies absolutely killed it, and I just love the goth vibes and the red and black aesthetic on the bar. So if you wear all black, you're already automatically attractive, just saying. And after Kava, I headed to Spain to Love Live's first techno event featuring Chris Liebing, Anja Schneider, and let me tell y'all, the place was packed. I didn't really know what to expect, but it was definitely a fun party, and the dark techno was feeding my soul. And I appreciate high quality music. And speaking of high quality, I have a guest right now, right here, one of the most quality techno people in San Diego. Or, you know what? Now you're in LA, so in the whole Southern California. How about that? Yeah, you happy with that?
I'm pretty happy with that, yeah.
Okay, you're just gonna have to get close to the mic.
All right, fine.
And I can't hear you.
Nope, not yet.
Okay. How about now?
Check.
Oh, okay. How about you go for mic 4? Yeah, there you
What's
go.
up over here?
Hey, there you go.
Okay.
Okay. And
This
his
one too.
Yeah, and his name is Britton. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for coming and for making a space in your busy schedule. That means a lot. How you feeling tonight? Did you do anything fun last weekend? I know you played at an event, right?
Yeah. I played up in LA at this event called Panic, and it's kind of been a collaboration between this guy Linus and the Terrachroma crew that's out there in LA, who I work a lot with, and we brought out Mr. C, and I was able to close out after him, and yeah, it was great. It was a little hot in the warehouse, but that's always a factor.
Yeah, it looked really cool. Like I saw the pictures that you posted of the venue, and it looked really intricate.
Yeah, it was really cool. It has a lot of potential. Since it was the first time throwing an event there, you always run into like, certain spaces not being big enough for a sound system or, weird angles and stuff. But for the most part, it worked out really well.
That's great. I'm happy you had a great time. So I want to know about your DJing journey. What was your very first gig?
My first gig would probably be at UCSD's Sun God Festival.
Oh, wow.
It was a competition, like DJ battles and that sort of thing, and somehow ended up getting to open up for like Porter Robinson and a few other really big acts, and that was like the first kind of experience of playing on a big stage in front of a lot of people. So I kind of got the bug then. I was like, I need to get back there.
You're like, I need to start doing that.
Yeah.
And that was pretty big for your first gig.
Yeah, that was a little nerve-wracking for sure. After that, it was a lot easier. I mean, after that, I started. I did move up to LA to go to school for audio at LA Recording, and started being just like a promoter at Exchange LA.
We all start as promoters, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like playing the side rooms and promoting the main event. And that's actually where I met Tyler Rouse. And after that, we kind of teamed up with Schmitty to make Minimal Sessions. And yeah, it's just been going from there. At the same time, too, that's where I met the Noise Revolt guys and kind of got more introduced to the underground side of the electronic LA scene.
That's really cool. And so that was like the defining moment for you, right? Like that first DJing gig, like that's when you knew you're like, okay, this is not going to be a hobby. Like that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I felt like, I was able to kind of enjoy myself on a level that I haven't been able to before. And I was like, wow, that's a great feeling And yeah, just wanted to keep going back to it.
That's beautiful. And is your family musical?
Nope.
But they support you, right?
Uh,
Kind of, sort of. They're like,
it's like, I'm not gonna say they don't support me or anything, but it's definitely hard, to get, people from a different generation
Oh,
to
yeah,
accept something
course.
that wasn't around when they were, doing stuff. So, I mean, I think they would say that they're impressed at how resilient I am on continuing the journey.
it's
for
your
sure.
passion.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I read in your bio that you find inspiration in SoCal's underground collectives and full moon gatherings. And what are some of the specific elements that you find inspiring?
Well, for me, it's always been just the act itself of throwing this kind of party in a space that's really hard to get to. And, once you get there, there's not a whole lot of production going on. It's really mostly just about the music. And, especially when it's a full moon out in the desert, you have enough light out there.
That's so cool. I've never experienced those events.
Yeah, there's definitely like this, like a kind of like a vibe about it that's like kind of like alluring and mysterious. And
Yeah, that sounds beautiful.
yeah, a lot of people like, hold it really sacred, and it's really cool to see people take something and be so passionate about it, and then, going to go perform there, you get to experience people like actually appreciating
And
it.
you feed off their energies.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be accepted by that kind of community that seems to only really like a, very high quality standard of music and stuff, it feels really good.
That's awesome. I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
And how do you get in the zone when it comes to producing?
For me, it's like, anytime I'm listening to tracks or, listening to an artist that isn't even necessarily electronic, I'll just find certain elements that I feel like I could maybe incorporate into my techno, or make my techno less techno by adding some organic elements. So, I mean, that's where a lot of the inspiration comes. Or when it's just like, my friend Pierre has this that whole Euro rack setup thing going on. So anytime you start jamming on that, it's like, make a song in like 15 minutes, I swear.
That's really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get inspiration from so many different places. Whenever I ask that question, it's like I get inspiration from like traveling or my friends' things and all these different things that can just like spark that creativity.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, lately I've been working for my girlfriend's stepdad, pouring like concrete and like working with wood and stuff. So I've definitely gone back to my more industrial roots, like, coming back from a day of working with those elements. You're like, okay, yeah, I feel like I can listen to some real techno right now.
I love that. That's really cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually they have a shop called Barnesworks,
Hey,
like East San
plug it,
Diego.
yeah.
That's the plug. That's the
That's a
one
plug.
plug for the show. You guys should definitely check it out. It's
Yeah,
it's a great
shout
shop.
out. That's so cool. So I got one more question before we go on your mix.
Uh-huh.
And would you say you're your biggest critic when it comes to your music?
Absolutely. I don't think I listen back to my mixes after they're like posted or anything like that, if it's like from a set, because I know where all the mess ups are, and I know I'm gonna magnify them a lot. But it's sometimes when I check up on it, I know no one's like commented on it or anything. It's like a relief. I'm like, well, people are just being nice.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel like with the interviews. Sometimes I like to rewatch them, but sometimes I don't because I just feel like, oh my god, I said so many filler words, so I looked awkward. But sometimes it can be very constructive.
Yeah.
So you should listen to them sometimes.
I know, you're right. I should.
All right. So what can we expect in the first half of the mix?
Well, this was during a set that I was playing out in the woods, and it was in the daytime. I think it was like 7 a.m. So it's not my usual dark style, but it gets there towards the end of the mix. But yeah, it's something a little different. I think you guys will like it.
Fantastic. I think we're all excited to hear this mix, and we're about to bless these people in this building with your beats. And we'll be back in 10 minutes for the longer part of the interview, so stay tuned. And you're listening to KCR College Radio, the award-winning sound of states. Hey, what's up, party people? Are you loving this mix? Because I'm loving this mix. I'm feeling all the little weird sounds. I'm all about it. So, before I go on the interview, I have to make some announcements. You already know. No plans this weekend? Check out the House of Blues in downtown San Diego for some amazing concerts in one beautiful venue. Make sure to check out our giveaways on kcrlive.com for a chance to win tickets to concerts throughout the semester, and stop by Music at the Mesa from 12 to 1 on Thursdays for more giveaway opportunities. Also, the Desert Days Festival is right around the corner from October 10 to 13. Join greats like the Flaming Lips, Wu-Tang Clan, Ween, and many more at Moreno Beach. Check out desertdays.org to see the full lineup and purchase your ticket today. Also, I want to give a shout out to DJ MTK. We recently started collaborating on a podcast called EDM Unplugged, where we talk about our event experiences and behind the scene content, review upcoming festivals, share new tracks, and many, many fun things. You can find us on SoundCloud. Just search EDM Unplugged podcast or soundcloud.com/festival podcast. And here I am with Britton once again. And I'd like to know, what was the event that made the biggest impact in your life? Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to say that Desert Hearts probably is the biggest impact. I mean, I'm pretty sure every aspiring DJ in San Diego wishes that they could go and play there.
Well, what's special about it?
Well, I just think the fact that it's such a large group of your closest friends, and it's put on like, you know, really well, huge production, you know, great music. And they've built this kind of crowd, which has also kind of become, you know, part of your family. And then they get to go and see you, you know, perform. It's pretty surreal.
Yeah, I bet. That is beautiful. Do you still feel nervous before playing at an event, or you got it together all the time?
I'm like super nervous right now. I get nervous before everything, and everyone that knows me knows I'm nervous all the time. But yeah, there's no getting around that.
Well, that means that it gets you excited too.
Absolutely.
That's like that nervousness, because I still get nervous before I go on the show. I feel like the first sentence always comes out all shaky when I do my intro, because I just like that adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
So it all means that you're excited for
me.
me.
Yeah, the first 15 minutes of me mixing, you might as well not even listen, because
just turn around and then come back.
Yeah, it tightens up later, I swear.
Cool. So, what's something that you learned since you started out as a DJ?
I guess it's kind of like a really it's really helpful advice, but it kind of sucks. But it's like, you know, don't trust, you know, everyone that kind of comes through and gives you all these lofty ideas and, you know, tries to kind of steer you in a certain direction. You should always just try and do your own thing, and it's worked out for me the best, I think. It's been nice to kind of have no expectations and just kind of do my own thing.
Yeah, and that's true, especially in the industry. Sometimes it can be a little bit superficial. Some people can be fake, and like, how can you like tell who's real and who's not? Like, what do you do?
I mean, in LA, it's pretty hard. It is pretty hard. But, I mean, you come across people that, you know, I feel like they'll prove to you why they think that their advice is going to be beneficial to you. But, I mean, for the most part, you have to go with your gut, and that's
the main one. Go with your gut.
Yeah. I mean, the first couple years of me living in LA, I was pretty much exploited. Like, you know, just doing shows, you know, in the hopes of like networking to get another show, and all I was really doing was hurting the whole industry as a whole, because if you're if you're, you know, getting these DJs to play for free, it's like, you know, you're kind of ruining the jobs for the other DJs that rely on like those couple $100, you know. So if everyone kind of just stops playing for free, I think we can make it a sustainable income.
No,
hopefully.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you guys have to like work together, stand for your rights, and because then they feel replaceable. You know, DJs just feel replaceable.
Yeah, and I mean, I try to make myself indispensable with different ways, and like, you know, one way people do that is making their own music, and, you know, or creating their own party or record label and kind of bringing something different. And I think it's really important to be always contributing to like the community in order to get something back. And it doesn't always have to be like throwing an event just to like book yourself or something
Yeah.
like that. But doing a radio show or something like that and being creative, I think it's important.
Yeah, I agree. And what do you think makes you stand out from other producers or DJs in general?
I just think that I've tried my best to learn every aspect of the industry from like the bottom level, as far up as I can possibly go, and have respect for all of it. And I've had a lot of really bad experiences reaching out to artists that I look up to and having them just like block me or something or completely ignore me. And I just remember at that point, I was like, if I'm ever in a position where someone's coming up to me to show appreciation, it's like I'll never make them feel like that. And so it's like,
Yeah, it's like staying humble, right?
yeah, it is. And it's also like, not completely killing their dreams either, because the worst thing you can do is make someone feel bad about something they're excited about. And if that's you, and then you're telling them like, go away, it's it's not the best thing ever. So I try to like, not be that person. And I also tried to, I don't know, eliminate the competition aspect of the San Diego scene. I feel like if everyone works together, it'll just kind of go a lot smoother.
Yeah, that's a dream for a lot of people here.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the challenges that you faced in your journey so far?
I mean, it was definitely really tough when I was doing more of the sound, like, providing sound systems and stuff like that, and trying to balance making music. And then the Astral Audio thing kind of had a falling out. It's still going as a company, so if you still need gear for rent, go ahead and hit up Adam. But I'm actually no longer a part of that, and so it was kind of a hit. And then moving back down to San Diego, the cost of living here is definitely not cheap. So I was lucky enough to move in with my girlfriend's parents in East Downtown, and since then it's been awesome. Though
It's
been,
great that you
yeah.
kind of turned your life around a bit.
I'm on the come up now.
That's great. And I just want to say thank you for sharing and being vulnerable, feeling comfortable enough, because like that's the whole point of this show, for everyone in the industry, in the community, to know that we're all dealing with our own different struggles, right?
Yeah. No, it's not perfect for sure, and
I'm sure people look up to you.
I hope so, but I hope they don't see the negative side of things. It's definitely hard, but I mean, it's worth it in the end. Like there's some great things that I get out of this that I can't really get out in anything else. So as long as I can work these random side jobs and sustain the failing music career, I'll be super happy.
That's great. Like I said, it is a passion. It's a labor of love, and I completely understand. So I like to shift my focus on your involvement with Noise Revolt Records.
Mm-hmm.
What is your role like there?
So I actually am not involved with them
Oh,
anymore.
okay.
But
Because
that's okay.
I saw you on your Facebook page that you were managing the
Yeah.
page, so that's why I brought it up.
Yeah, so I met Jesta, Dylan, and Rascal in LA, and we all kind of got together, and we, were throwing parties, and we ended up getting a warehouse, and we had that for a couple years, and then we had the record label. It was going really well. There was just some unforeseen things that happened that kind of just broke us all up, and it's really sad because I love those guys. Jesta is still holding on strong though, and we're actually doing a Warriors party.
Nice.
It's a Warriors themed party with all the different collectives, but I'm actually going to be joining Terra Chroma this time.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I think I might be battling out with someone on Noise Revolt, so it should be really
Ooh.
interesting.
Are you gonna dress up? Is it like a costume party?
Yeah, we all dress up in our like Warriors themed jackets and stuff like that, and go that extra level for sure.
That's cool. I can totally visualize it because you have that look, like the warrior look.
Oh yeah. There's no way they weren't gonna have me.
That's really cool. So I want to know, what is it that keeps you motivated to continue on this path despite all the challenges?
I mean, there's definitely been a few times where I was like, okay, yeah, maybe that's enough. I should just like, go back to school and be an electrician and do all that stuff. But my girlfriend definitely gets really mad at me when I talk like that, and she's been, really pushing for me to kind of create a lifestyle that's sustainable, and I can also do this. And to be able to kind of have that foresight and just helping me organize that has been like the biggest help. Um, and yeah, I mean, just like performing for me, even though get really nervous before it, it's still like one of my favorite things to do.
And how do you handle the nerves?
I don't. I just
You don't,
just
you
somehow
gotta-
I just get
just
up
gotta
there
ride it up.
and I just know what to do as soon as I'm behind the decks, I guess. But it's sometimes it's not as bad as other times. You'd think like sometimes the bigger stuff I'm not as nervous for, but like the smaller, intimate, like warehouse stuff that everyone's kind of like tuned in. You're like, oh man, I can't mess up.
Yeah.
Everyone's on lock.
Yeah, definitely. I can resonate. I've DJ'd in hundreds of events, and always like the bigger events, like you said, made me feel more comfortable. But
Yeah.
when it was like a small like house party or something, because people can just approach you.
So many things can go wrong
Yeah.
too. You're like, how is this hooked up?
Yeah. Or like someone's like about to spill like wine on my decks or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the feeling.
Okay, so I'd like to know about your affiliation with Thunderbird Music. That for sure you're involved, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Leia basically takes care of me pretty much on the DJ side of things. She handles everything. And like we were talking about earlier, I'm really busy with just side hustle work and doing stagehand work and any kind of work I can get. So Leia kind of is able to organize everything, all the opportunities that come in, and sets them up and makes it work with my schedule. And yeah, I wouldn't have a career right now without her. So.
Wow, yeah, shout out. And she's very kind and very approachable. So
Yeah, she's
so
sweet.
thank you for that. She's super cool.
Yeah.
So now I like to know, what are some of the differences that you notice between the San Diego and Los Angeles community?
For me, like I like the San Diego community a little bit more, just because I feel like it's a little newer in the sense that they're kind of creating their own way that they like express themselves to the style of music or dance to it, and it seems like it's a lot more of like an inviting crowd. Like if you bring someone new, it's not hard for them to find their people. When in LA, I feel like people still kind of have those blinders on, and it's a lot more like everyone's in their clique type of thing. But I could be wrong. Like I that's just the last couple events that I went to. There's obviously exceptions, but that's the biggest difference that I see. As far as like the sound goes, I think that San Diego could definitely be a little bit more dynamic, like maybe spread out a little bit more and appreciate something that's not quite as formulated.
like what, for example? Do you think there are just too many like house shows, or like what is
Not
it?
necessarily house, because there's good music in every genre, but there's like the style of music in every genre that kind of has this like it's just like the cookie cutter formulated. It's been done a billion times, and it's been harder and harder for me to kind of be like, yeah, like this is awesome. And I want to see people kind of create their own identity with a set and have certain elements that when you hear them, you're like, oh, that's this guy, or like that's
Yeah.
this person, because there's enough out there. There's enough good music out there to kind of step away from that.
So like, how do you create your own identity, like, and step out of that cookie cutter mindset?
Well, it depends. If you're a DJ, it's a little bit harder because you're kind of going for something that like you have to find producers that produce have a similar palette. But if you're a producer, you could do something where you're taking some kind of sound and processing it a certain way and giving it a certain tone, and you're able to kind of shape it in different ways while keeping that tone. You now have like a sound that you can use in multiple tracks where people can like go back and identify that and be like, oh no, that's that's Brit, because there's that weird tone, even though it's used differently as like a different instrument or something. So, and that's been like the hardest part really, is
Finding like your sound, like your
Yeah.
specific thing that if people hear it, oh, I know that's Britton.
Yeah, and lately, like, I've been making music with JT under the alias Crowded Corners, and I've been using a lot of the same sounds, but I haven't been making dark minimal with it. I've been making more, like, bouncier, techier,
Like more tech house?
a little bit more in the tech. I don't want to say
Yeah,
tech house.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a forbidden word in San Diego, but
I don't understand, man.
I don't
Like,
either. Genres are, but you're right. It is more on the tech house side, and
okay.
it's got that more San Diego element to it.
Look, I'm definitely not a music purist. I think
Neither
that
am I.
if
Yeah,
it sounds good, it sounds good.
that's exactly how I feel. So yeah, that's what we've been doing. Just taking like those sounds and making them into something that they're not really meant to be,
Yeah.
and it's been really cool.
So, what is like your favorite genre from the electronic music, world? You like specifically?
I mean, minimal techno is
Okay.
probably going to be like it's such a broad genre right now though, because there's like a couple different types of minimal techno, but I like that really bouncy, like almost like it's like that going to the circus like type of
I like
techno.
that.
It's bounce, sounds like things are just shooting
Circus
off and
techno.
yeah, it's silly, but it's not too cheesy.
Yeah.
It's silly, but it's like well produced, so it's it's not too cheesy.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I'm definitely more of like a really dark, like you can hear the bass like.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my stuff. But
And I love that too. It's just the time and place for it is always important. And yeah, more
Yeah.
often than not, I'm trying to find those bouncy, quirky tracks.
that's really cool. So I would like to know your opinion on San Diego's electronic music scene, like something maybe that's good and that needs improvement. And then you already kind of talked about the sound,
Yeah.
but I don't know if there's any more input that you want to
Well,
share.
I think, as much as I love Kava Lounge and Spin, I think that if, there was another venue
Yes.
that was kind of more on their level and like kind of with their understanding of like how we throw events and stuff, because like you go and try to go to Bang Bang to throw an event, they're gonna laugh at you. It just doesn't, we're not really on that level. But Kava Lounge has been so great, providing a platform for people to throw events. It's but it's just like we need something different.
Yes,
We need like
I
a change
agree.
of scenery.
I agree.
I yeah, it just sucks with like the liquor license and like that whole thing in San Diego is really dicey. But that's probably the only thing I'd really improve on. And then once they got the venue, having me install it would be
Yeah, shout out. Yeah, you know who to hit up. Britton
Yeah.
right here.
I'll take care of that venue.
That's cool. And I completely agree because I feel like there's only three places that you can go to hear this underground sound. There's like Spin, Kava, and Blonde.
Yeah,
And I think I've been there probably like 100 times.
I know, and I love both places.
Yeah, I love them too.
It's nothing against them. I think it would actually be better for them if there was another venue, because it would just kind of help, like get people to come down from other places.
No, yeah, I completely agree. So thank you for that input. Now we're gonna go with the human experience section where I will be asking you questions that will give us an idea of how you look at life and yourself. So,
Oh gosh.
oh no, oh, okay, so number one, what three words best describe you?
Um, I motivated. Um,
I'll help you. You said resilient earlier.
yeah, resilient.
One more.
Jeez, oh my God.
Something that pops in your mind.
Precise.
Okay, all right, we'll take it. So, when negative thoughts arise, how do you deal with them?
When what?
Negative thoughts arise, like how do you deal with them?
I mean, it's kind of, it's like I actually used to kind of go through this a lot, like about a year ago, and every single time like those thoughts would come into my head, I would kind of try and do the exact opposite. Like if I ever felt like, oh, like I'm too tired to get up and go do something, I'd be like, okay, I have to go do that right now because I had that thought. Like I have to
You
like
just battled it.
yeah, and
straight
so
on.
now it's like whenever I get like a negative thought, I feel like I have to do something to kind of counteract it and prove that like that thought has no power, I guess, in
Yeah.
a weird way.
No, yeah.
It kind of helped me out. I don't know.
No,
but
that's good. Everyone has their own mechanisms. For me,
Yeah.
I would say I try to like not think about it so much or like write down what's bothering me, and then when you see it like on paper, you're like, it's not such a big deal.
Right, yeah. And it is that it's the same exercise of just like shrinking your problems.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I like that. How do you recharge or replenish your energy?
I guess sleep is the only thing that I don't get enough of, but every time I get it, it seems to help a lot.
Yeah, can you nap? I can never nap.
I can literally fall asleep at the drop of a hat. Yeah, that's what will like working in production in the warehouse scene will do for you.
All right. So when was the last time you got out of your comfort zone?
Right now, coming to do this interview, that's why JT is here to hold my hand.
Hey, shout out to JT. He's just hanging out in the corner. What does he do? Tell me.
He makes music. He can't talk right now though. This is my interview. So,
Okay, yeah. Sorry, JT.
You just sit and watch, JT.
Hey, it's good that you have like a good support system.
Yeah.
And
No,
you got your friend that came with you.
He's the boy. But yeah, we're also making music together under Crowded Corners. That's going to be coming out pretty soon. So
Ooh,
keep an eye
yeah.
out
Send
for
me the
that.
link and I'll share it for sure.
Definitely.
Okay, so what's something new that you recently learned about yourself?
I learned that I'm not too proud to do like crazy amounts of hard labor for minimum pay just to make ends meet. I mean, it's funny, like you never really expect yourself to kind of be put in situations where you're like, am I really about to go and, sign up for this thing that's, I'm basically just pushing carts and wrapping cables, but at the end of the day, it's like you have to do what you have to do, and it's a really good feeling though, because I've been able to kind of pull myself out of this, low point by myself, and it's made me feel a lot better about myself, and so maybe that's something that I've learned out of it. It's just my own self-worth.
Yeah, sometimes when we go through certain struggles or pain or something like a tough spot in our lives, it helps us grow.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you're doing it on your own, you're able to kind of see your actual strength and how much you can kind of take.
And you become more self-aware.
Yeah.
And then you reconnect with yourself and self-love. It's all about self-love, right?
Yep.
So what activities make you lose track of time?
Surfing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I can see it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't surf as much as I should, but yeah.
What is your favorite place to be?
The beach. I know it's really cliche, but that's literally where
I like to go to the beach during sunset time. I like sunsets at the beach are the most like beautiful thing for me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much any time of day for me, except for that like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, where it's just right in your eyes. Like I can't handle.
Or when it's super busy.
Yeah, no, I don't do that either.
So what's like the most ideal time to go to the beach for you?
2:30 p.m. Not in the summertime, but 2:30 is like gentleman's hour.
Oh, really?
No, because you go like there's certain places like especially in like North County where you go by like the bluffs and stuff, and there's just no one ever there, and that's I'm down to go surf mediocre waves instead of dealing with like 50 people at like one perfect wave.
Yeah, that's cool. You can just like take some time to meditate
Exactly.
and chill.
It is more of a meditative thing at this point for sure.
Nice. No, I agree. Sometimes I can't handle being around so many people around me. I need to
Yeah.
just like isolate myself and just think.
Yeah.
So if you had to teach something, what would you teach?
Probably audio. I think that would be like the one thing that I think I could probably explain to people in a simple enough way to where they can understand it. I mean, it's hard to kind of to teach someone something unless you fully understand it, and I think I've just spent so much time around audio that at least there's one aspect that I can teach, like the whole live.
You're a professional at that.
Yeah, that just setting up speakers maybe.
Cool. So what impact do you want to leave on the world?
I guess it would just be really, really cool if like sometime in the future some kids were like digging around on tracks and they like just came across my track like 80 years ago, and they're like, what is this? Like these people were listening to this. This is so weird, and like
Suddenly
hopefully
it becomes cool.
yeah, spark like like a new genre, like a rehash genre of that style, and it's like one of the tracks that like I didn't even really care about, but like for
It
some
becomes
reason, yeah,
popular
they're like,
later on.
That's super sick. If that happened, like that would be all time.
Cool. You'll be watching from
From my spaceship.
Yeah, like hey, it made it happen.
Yeah.
Cool. So lastly, we got the letter that you have to choose. So if anyone who's watching or listening, I have a black envelope with a red S stamp, like it's a scarlet letter, yes.
Oh, nice.
And it has a random question, and you're gonna have to pick one envelope.
Okay. And while I pick this envelope, I have to say that I'm playing a very awesome festival, October 31st.
Oh, what is it?
We
Tell me
Are All
about it.
One festival.
Whoa.
I'm really bad at plugs, in case you
Oh,
guys
yeah,
haven't
I mean, yeah,
noticed.
it's
But
okay.
this one I actually did want to talk about because it's put on by my friend MJ, and she's, an amazing person. And it's an amazing lineup, so you guys should check it out. We Are All One festival.
Where is it happening?
It's happening in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a desert location in Vegas.
What dates?
The 31st, I think, to the 2nd.
Of
November.
November?
Yeah. So it's like a
Alright.
little Halloween festival.
Awesome.
So I'm opening this now.
Okay.
It's going on now.
Okay. Let's see what question you got.
What life lesson did you learn the hard way?
Ooh.
Okay. Well, I think it might have been when I was like trying to live in Hawaii, and the locals there didn't really like me living there too much.
Why?
Because my skin tone's like a little lighter than what they're
okay.
stoked on, and it actually opened my eyes up a lot though to how racism is here, because I was basically just thinking like I can always just leave here and go back to my privileged California life,
Yeah.
but some people, like people in California that have to go through this, can't ever leave here. Like, this is their home, and it was one lesson that I had to learn the hard way, but I'm glad that I learned it. It gave me like kind
Perspective.
of a perspective that I never would have gotten anywhere else. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that was pretty deep. Thank you
I know.
for sharing. Yeah, I got all the deep questions. You know,
did.
I
Everyone else I've been so awkward with. You're the lucky one.
thank you. I strive to have a comfortable space for my guests, and I really truly care about all of your mental health and everything that you're doing, because I empathize and I love the music and the community. So
Thank you. I appreciate it.
yeah, so thanks again for being here. I think it's time to hear the rest of your mix, and we'll be back in less than 10 minutes with some final questions. So don't go anywhere, people. good. Okay, so I have just a couple more questions. And do you have any upcoming events?
Well, other than the We're All One festival, which I snuck in there, I don't think I have. I want to say. Oh yeah, yeah. When is that? November 3rd, 23rd. We're doing the. Is it the Bad Boys Beach Club? Bad Kids Beach Club. We just started a new event series, as you can tell.
What?
And the lineup is actually really sick. I just can't say anything about it. With
Ooh, it's a
JT
secret.
sitting here in the room right now, but it's gonna be pretty amazing. It's gonna be down near Barrio Logan, and
It's gonna be here.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. So that's something that we've been kind of like, trying to curate and get ready for our first launch of that event. Our friend John King is also involved in that. Is he still? Did he do anything recently? Okay, cool. He's
That's
still involved.
fun.
Yeah, and the We're All One. I just recently played at the Belly Up, which was really really cool with Random Rab, and after like a couple string of events like down here in San Diego, I thought it would be kind of a good time to like post up and work on music for a little bit so everyone doesn't get all burned out of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the LA show was really fun, and looking forward to going out to Vegas. And
Yes. Cool.
there's always a shelter in Encinitas too that is like kind of my second home. So
Oh yeah.
I might
I've been
show
there
up
once.
there.
It's pretty cool.
It's fun. Gabe Vega does a really good job over there, and yeah.
So what does the future hold for Britton?
I don't know. I mean, we I say we, like me and my girlfriend have just been trying to come up with that game plan. She's finishing up school in Long Beach, and as soon as she comes back down here and kicks me out of her parents' house, we'll probably try and find somewhere down in San Diego to live and keep making music down here. I've been talking with Minimal Sessions on trying to revamp some things, also Terra Chroma and trying to do some stuff, but
Yeah, you got projects.
it's all just like in the starting points right now. The biggest focus has been the music. I mean, really, I've only been kind of releasing remixes for like this past year because I've just been trying to hone in on my original production. Like, doing remixes, you're working with elements and parts of the songs that are already kind of developed and full. And this way I'm able to kind of still work in my headphones and, like get something out. But, working on original stuff, you kind of need the full production, like the full studio. And in my opinion, you do. And moving around a lot has not helped that at all.
I bet.
Yeah.
So, really quickly, any last shout outs or anything that you'd like your fans to know before we go?
I mean, off the top of my head, I have no idea. I'm just really obsessed with Chihuahuas. That's about it.
Okay, well, now you know. Britton, if you want to get to his heart, get him a Chihuahua.
Please do, yeah.
All right, so I will be uploading the show and an interview this weekend on YouTube, and I'll be sharing the link on my socials. So just search for Scarlett Letter Show. Thanks to everyone that tuned in. Thank you, Britton, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
See y'all next Thursday. Bye.
See ya.